Hey everyone, welcome to the live stream. It's really exciting to be here. This is actually our first live stream, and we're going to be building in front of you with a bunch of different stuff. Well, a bunch of different pieces, I should say. We're going to be building a Lego ambulance. It's going to be 6 wide, and since this is the first live stream, there could be some hiccups like the one just a moment ago, so please bear with me, but hopefully I can edit it out afterwards. And just to mention, all of the parts files for this particular build will be able to be found on the website, which you can find down in the description below. So let's hop on in. To start, we're going to need 2 of these pieces. And again, the color doesn't really matter for this one because it's going to be on the bottom of the ambulance. But we're going to start with these. And then next, we're going to need to build the sides of the ambulance. For that, I've actually already made them. You're going to use the modified plates. Get a little closer to the camera here so you guys can see. And you're going to need 2 versions of these just to be mirrored. And these are going to go on each side, which will be connected in a moment. Next, we'll need some brackets. And with these, and you know what, let me zoom in a little bit for you guys. Hopefully that's a little better. So with these, you actually flip these around real quick, get them right for you. And sorry, there are dogs here, so hopefully the barking isn't too bad. Okay, so basically what you want is the brackets to attach to the base like so. And we're going to secure all this in a moment. We're just laying out the base of the ambulance. So next, what we're going to do is go ahead and add the wheels. And because the back of the ambulance is wider, we're actually using a wider wheelbase for the back versus the front. And it's important to note for these particular wheels, you're going to want to use one of the tan pieces. They tend to roll better than the blue. Okay, so this is the base of the ambulance, and for you guys just tuning in, we're building the blue and white ambulance, which was on our Instagram page. It's a blue and white version of this red one right here, and it's really cool because it's going to have working doors and everything, and it's built to 6 wide, which is the new standard, so hopefully you guys enjoy. But this is what we've got so far, and what we're going to do now is kind of attach everything that we've built so far. So, whoops, this one goes over here. And again, since this is live, hopefully there aren't any hiccups, but I guess we'll see as we go. Oh. Okay, so this is the base of the ambulance. This is pretty much how big it'll be, and it'll kind of build onto the back here. So we'll keep going. Oh, looks like the sound cut out. So what I was explaining was, if you don't have parts, a great resource is Bricklink. And what we do is we sell on our website instructions as well as the parts files. So when you go and you download that, the parts file can easily be uploaded to Bricklink, and you get the exact parts and pieces you need for any of our builds. And this one is definitely a more complex build, which, you know, we're kind of just starting to get into. And I'm already kind of messing up because it's a live stream and it's really hard to focus. But I'm trying to get this right so that you guys can see. You know what? I messed the front up too. And I'm sorry guys. This is literally my first ever live build. And we're gonna cut all of this out in the future. But bear with me, hopefully they'll get a lot better in the future. So we're gonna start this back from the beginning. And it's good too because a lot of you guys just joined anyway, so we'll just go ahead and kind of reset. So what I did was I started with these, and again, for those of you who just joined, we're building a blue and white version of one of the ambulances. It's definitely a trickier build because there's just a lot of parts and pieces to this. It's a little bit more complex than ones that you'd find on, like, you know, lego.com or some of the other ones out there. It's built to 6 wide, which you guys said is your favorite, so I wanted to kind of stick to that. And all the doors and windows will work once we get there. And so the best thing to start with are 2 of these. Colors don't matter. The do for the outside, but this is just going to be underneath for the wheelbase, so you can use any colors. And then you're going to want to make these using the modified plates. And then next are the brackets. So what you do is place a bracket that's a little bit offset right here, like such, and do it for the other side. All right. And then next, what I was explaining earlier when the volume cut out was for the wheels, we're actually using 2 different wheelbase sizes. And the reason why is because the back of the ambulance is a little bit wide. So here's the front wheelbase, and make sure you use a tan because it rolls so much better than the blue, which I've seen people make the mistake before. So be sure you use that. And on the front section, you offset it like such. And then on the back section, it goes flush with the back of the wheelbase. Okay, so now that we've got that, we're going to go ahead and add basically the tops of it and the front. I'm dropping pieces over here. So for the front, in order to secure it, you want to add these guys, and then 2 of the 2x1 plates. And then next is modified brick for the front. This is going to secure the front portion of the ambulance. Okay, so then we're going to add plates like such. So again, here's the base of the ambulance. As you can see, comparison. All right, and then next we attach these guys, which we just made. And oops, this one goes over here. So you should have 1 space each side. Then flip it over. And what we built earlier, so you got the 4x2 plate, 1 stud, 4 down, and then a 2 top. You slide this one in, and it goes right underneath what we just attached, like such. And I'll rebuild this one just so you guys can see real quick. So Basically 2x4, add a 1x4 corner piece. Put this one on, add the 2 back. All right, so we got our base now. And apologies for messing up earlier. This is, again, the first ever live build, so bear with me, but... all right, so let's keep moving. Sorry, I'm just gathering some pieces real quick. Okay, so now that we've got this, put these guys right here to make it flush. And then important is on this side, on the right side, you're actually going to want to use a smooth tile because this is where the door is going to go. But on the other side, you use a plate for securing the future build. All right, next we're going to work on the doors. Add those right there. Add some more stability to the base. So this guy goes right here. Add the wheel wells. Now we're finally starting to get somewhere. I just realized there's actually, so there's 1x1 on here already, which I forgot to move earlier when I was taking it apart, but just so you guys can see. So then you have a 6 flat right there, like such. And I'll remove these two. Put those guys. And you know what, that probably actually goes, I'm gonna make it a little bit stronger and put a 1x6 there, because I think those guys were intended for the back one, so let me swap that. All right, that's looking better. Cool, okay. Next are the seats, and these are kind of fun. What I typically do is use the bricks, but on the back side they have just the 2, and it makes for a really cool seat texture. And if you add the headrests using a jumper, oops. Make the headrest just like this. Pretty cool. We'll put that in just like such. And let's also add the steering wheel now for the little driver compartment, little dashboard. All right, and then for the doors, what I do is add some curved slopes. I put the 1 in the middle, so you get a nice curve right there. It's 5 wide total, so you're gonna need 2 2x2s and then a 1x2, like such. That creates a good little cabin for your minifigure. All right, so next for the door frames, and we'll actually reuse this one. So what I'm gonna do is, let me go grab a black one real quick. I'll be right back. Just gonna grab this. All right, back. If you guys don't know, I'm actually in the process of moving right now because of coronavirus, so a lot of my bricks are locked up. So I gotta make sure I save enough of the 1x6s in order to use them in the future. But basically what you're gonna wanna do you basically wanna create a door frame like such, right? And the best way to do that is to use the 1x6s because they go the full length. And what we'll do is add some little clips so we can add mirrors later, as well as the actual door. All right, so hold these off to the side because these are going to be added after we build the cab in the back, and they'll basically secure everything together like such. And on the front here, what we'll do is just add one more layer of blue so that you don't see any from the outside. That way it's flush. Okay, so now moving on to the front. And what I typically do is kind of leave the engine empty. I know a lot of people like to put little engines in there, but for me, I mean, you never really see it, so I don't get why people waste the bricks, personally. But you know, everybody has a preference. I think actually what I may do is put the mirrors, make them just a little bit more. I remember this when I was building the other one. I actually wanted to make the mirrors underneath the windshield because it gives it a little bit more structure. So we'll go ahead and adjust the clips to right here. All right, next is the hood of the car, or I'm sorry, the ambulance, and try to make it as realistic as possible, even putting the little vent on there. So I just think it adds just a little bit more detail, and yeah, people seem to really like it. All right, next is on the front. Oop, knocked a seat off. Okay, so the bumper is going to be going right here, so you want this to be flush. I keep hitting the seats with my finger. All right. Keep working on the bumper. All right, so there we go. Got a bumper on there now. And then next we'll add the lights. So the lights go right here, and first are the little reflectors, and then next the headlights. You probably noticed this gap right here. This is where the grill's gonna go, and it has to be built a little bit differently. So we'll do that now. And basically what you want to do is get, let's see here if I can find a good part. Probably start with a 2x2 black. So this one's unique. So what you do is using these guys to make the grill. Go into the black and then add 1x2 in blue. You gotta close the gap. And just like that, creates a little grill. It has a little logo in the middle that you kind of find like a Ford truck or something. And then just add some curved slopes, bring it all together, and fingers crossed it fits correctly. I may have missed one layer, and if so, I'll just go back and add it real quick. Nope, got it right. Cool, fits perfect. Awesome. Next, we got to finish right here. So we'll use more curved angled pieces as well as some tiles. And it creates a nice little slope, but also some detail to bring it all together. All right, now moving on to the back. So this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. And we're gonna start by adding blue piece right here, and then put the doors on finally. That's what I was kind of talking about, that we had to wait for. All right, it's on like that. Another 1x2 there, and then put that guy there. All right, so then in the back, basically stick this guy on, and what this is it's just 2x8 or 2x6, sorry. Or no, 2x8. Sorry, it is 2x8 because it's the back of the cab. And in the middle, you just have a 4x4 with two 2x2s. And you can put black or blue on the bottom. Just stick it on the back like that, and that basically creates the rest of the cab. And to make it flush, we're gonna add some more things to it real quick. I need to grab one more piece. Be right back. Alright, so this will make it flush. Then we can add some more tiles. So in here is basically where the ambulance bed would go. And you'll see when we get a little further along, I've just got to extend it using 2x3s so you get a nice squared off section. Then flip it over, and this is how we'll add the tail lights. So I would just use well modified bricks. And for these, we'll do orange and flat red. For the turn signals and the taillights. And then to finish it off, just add a little lip by using some modified plates, which will make it have kind of like a step on the back for people to get in, as you can see. All right, let's continue on. So next, add some support on the inside to hold the back on, which will be these tiles. We're gonna connect it even further in a second. But basically this is like the side of the ambulance on the inside. And I'm not gonna make it super detailed on the inside because again, like I feel like it's just a waste of bricks, but you could if you wanted to. Okay, so this part is critical, and this is how the doors attach. So you need to get this right, and basically the best way to do it is look at the back of it, and then when you go one in from the back, you add one of these guys. And I'll show you in a second how this works. But it's the exact same mechanism I used for the city bus and a few other builds I've done that use swivel doors. Okay, so let me get a little closer so you guys can see back exactly. So that's the layout you need, because what we're going to do is use arms to attach the doors, and when you clip them on, they need to be able to clear correctly to swivel. We'll use a 1x8 to kind of hold everything together on this end. And then I'm out of 1x4s because they're in storage, but we'll just use 2 1x2s, but you'd want to use a 1x4 over here if you could. Okay, so everything's flat. All right, next we'll finish off the wheel wells. So as you can see now, the gray track going around. That's just kind of how I finished the inside. Again, you could add even more if you wanted to make it even more detailed. Then so for the lights on the top back, we're going to use Technic bricks and then use a little pin with a rounded tile trans clear bread and just slide it in. It'll spin, but because it's round, it won't matter. And then okay, I think we'll go ahead and build the doors now. So what we're gonna do is build 1x1. And I need to grab real quick a couple more. Use these guys. Good thing you can edit videos after live feeds, so we can cut all this out. And again, I'm out of the blue 1x1 bricks, so I'm just gonna use black for the purpose of this tutorial. But what you'd want to use is a blue one right here. And so for the other side now, use this guy. And I'll add the instructions to our website too, so you can build it probably a lot quicker than this. And then next are those little arms again. And they clip right on the inside where we put the hooks earlier. You want to clip them to the top. And we're going to use these for the door handles. This will all make sense in a second, I promise. Okay, next are the windows. So now, as you can see, the doors open and close by just using that mechanism that we made earlier. And again, you want to use dark blue for these. Mine are in storage, otherwise, you know, it'd match the rest, but for the purpose of the tutorial, we're just using black. All right, let's add some windows to the side. Okay, we gotta put one in for the other door, which is going on the side right here. So it goes right here, followed by windows, which is kind of a little view to the front from the back cab. And then put a 1 by 1 right there. Okay, and now we're going to do the second door. And so again, you need one of these little panels right here in order for the door to work properly. And what we'll do is we'll attach it using the same arm. We're going to build it from the base up. And actually, sorry, before I do that, I just want to secure this real quick. And we'll do that. Let's use one of these guys. That way when the door pulls on it, it doesn't pull the piece out. It's usually better to secure it. So by adding these structural elements, it should really help. Okay, now that we've got it secure, let's go ahead and build the door. And for this one, I'm using a bracket with a little rounded tile, slightly different than the back. Okay. For this guy right there. And I don't know where all my 1 by 1s went. Let me grab another one. All right, here we go. Okay, so attach it the exact same way. Goes on the top here. So you attach it to the top and then slide it out. And then just like that, door goes in flush. And it's the same technique used on the city bus build that I did on YouTube. If you want to check out the channel, you can find that build as well. It's not a live build, it's instructions, so it's even quicker. Okay. So next is, gotta tie everything together here. This guy goes right here. That way these doors can slide in. Okay, so you probably noticed these gaps. What that is for are all these modified bricks, and that's where the other lights that go on it are going to go. And they are staggered, so you want to follow this pattern. And same thing on the other side. Let me zoom out a little bit now that it's getting bigger, so you guys can see a little better. All right. Okay, so for these lights, use the flat red trans clear tiles. And then I did a 1x1 studded trans clear for this one right here. Whoops, don't want to knock the windows out, right there. And then same thing on the other side. Starting to look like an ambulance. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so next, make sure you have everything lined up because we're gonna secure everything on top. And so, 2 4x2s on a 6x8. That will lock everything in place in the back. I need one more. 2x8 to cover right there. And then we need to secure everything right here. So use 3x3 plates, and then in the middle, maybe 2x3. So you can kind of see how it's all coming together right there. Nice slope. And then this is where the flat trans clear come in, right here on the edge. And then for this section, a bunch of these 1x8 tiles. add these to the roof. Nice and clear, or nice and smooth, I should say, sorry. All right. Next up, add the windshield, which goes just on the front. Pretty self-explanatory. And then for the cab roof, it's 1x3s and a jumper tile. And put this guy in the middle, put the 1x3s on the edge. Like that, because the lights for the front for the siren's gonna go right here. To make that, what we'll do is we'll use 1x2 trans clears. All right, so you can see how that becomes the front siren. Then we gotta add the mirrors, which same as the door handles for the back. Just these little modified plates. Go like that. That's it, guys. That is the ambulance. And so if you recall, we created 3 different sets of opening doors. There's one, and these guys in the back. Put the roof on a little snug. That's another thing, you want the roof somewhat loose in the back so that the doors slide out properly. So as you can see. And again, remember these are supposed to be dark blue, but I'm out of pieces unfortunately, so because of the move. But otherwise that's it. That's the ambulance. Hope you guys like the build. What I'm going to do is add the parts files on the website, www.afwellstore.com. You can find it there soon. I'll also probably upload the instruction version of this to YouTube soon. That way it's a little easier to follow along, because I know the live feed, you know, we had some hiccups. Again, this was the first live feed, so thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully the future ones will be a little bit smoother, you know, as I get used to it. But if you guys have any suggestions or anything else, just, you know, let me know what you guys want to see. And really appreciate everybody coming to this one. So I'll see you guys next time.